Today is Sunday. Yesterday while I was at work, I got offered the opportunity to work today, this morning, for 8 hours, but I didn't do it because I had a concert ticket to go see Anita today for Equilibrium tour. Child. The ticket said 12 o'clock, and I asked Google, and Google said 2 o'clock. So I was like, maybe Google is on a different time zone. I don't know. Anyway, I got there at 12 o'clock. I'm just sitting there. Baby, the sun was beaming at first. It was hot. I had on a t-shirt and a pair of shorts. That's it. And then cloud cover came and the temperature just took a nosedive, honey. And it got too cold for me to be out there dressed like that. And I just shaved my head like yesterday. With me, if I shave my head, like, I have to be careful with the weather because if I don't, it can make me sick. So I had to leave. I paid 300 reais for the ticket, and I didn't even get to see her perform. She didn't get on the stage until 6 o'clock, and I stood out there for 4 hours, just standing there. There was no opening acts or nothing. It was just a bunch of people in the audience. Everybody was eating and drinking. And then it just got too cold, so I just had to come back home. So anyway, that's what I did earlier today. Now, it has nothing to do with the story I'm about to tell, but anyway, I'm going to tell you about the time that my sister got hit by a car. Jamise. Now, if you look at Jamise today, you can't tell that she got hit by a car. She looks perfectly healthy. And when I say got hit by a car, usually when people say, oh, so-and-so got hit by a car, and it'd be like, the car was going like 5 miles an hour, and it just made you fall off or something. No. Jamise got hit by the car. Okay, this is what happened. It was a holiday. I want to say 4th of July. And was it? No, maybe it was Memorial Day. Maybe. I can't remember. Whatever it was a holiday, so we had to stay home from school that day. And I want to say my cousin Monica from Kansas City was staying with us for the summer. So it was an extra person in the house. We was sitting around the house on Saturday. No, it wasn't a Saturday morning, on that holiday morning. And we was talking. Then one of us suggested going to the corner store. I think we was talking about some candy, like Fireballs or something, like, or a hot pickle. It was something like that. I think. I know one time we had a conversation about which one was hotter, a Fireball or a hot pickle. I think this was the time. Anyway, we decided we were going to walk to the corner store, which is the Quick Sack off of Kings Lane in Bordeaux. Me and Monica get dressed. And Jamise, at the time, she was Jamise was always very, very, very spoiled. She was super duper spoiled. Hold on. So anyway, she was super duper spoiled. So she started crying because she wanted to walk with us to the store. I was like, no, just stay here. You're too young. I would do it. She was like, no, I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. Then who else was with us? I think somebody else was with us. I can't remember. I want to say Michelle, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, we started to walk to the store and leave her there, and she started crying. And I was like, fuck it, just come on. So we're walking up Kings Lane. At the time, Kings Lane did not have a sidewalk. I mean, it did, but it was like you could tell it was the sidewalk. The sidewalk that was there. Okay, the sidewalk that's there now is a new one. The one that was there before, it had been there since like the 70s, the 60s or the 70s. It was an old sidewalk. So like half of it was there. And at certain parts of it, you could tell like parts of it was missing or whatever. And it blended in with the side of the road to the point where sometimes you would think the sidewalk ended, but it didn't. And we're going up the street, and then we get to the part where it's closer to Clarksville Highway, where Kings Lane and Clarksville Highway meet. And there was this guy that lived down there on the end of Kings Lane. And I had the biggest crush on him when I was in junior high. I think I was in junior high. Oh my gosh. I think his name was Greg. If I remember correctly. And to be honest with you, if I looked at him today, I would not be interested in him. But I thought, oh my gosh, she was just the most beautifulest thing. Anyway, so only reason I knew where he lived at was because one day the bus took the wrong direction. It went the opposite direction because the bus ran in a loop to pick everybody up and then the same loop to drop everybody off. But this one day, it went reverse to drop everybody off. And that's how I realized where he lived at. Because I didn't know where any of those other people that lived on the bus, where they lived at. And we talked about that one day. He was like, what do you do after I get off the bus? I was like, everybody was like, we go home. What does your house look like? Because I don't never see nobody else's house. I only see the people who get up before me. I don't never see where y'all live at. So anyway, I saw where he lived at. And so as we're walking down Kings Lane, I said, let's stop by Greg's house. My cousin at the time, she didn't know I had a crush on Greg. So we stopped by Greg's house. I was like, yo, what's up, Greg? Hey. And he was like, hey, this is my cousin. She's from Kansas City. And we were just sitting there talking. And keep in mind, me and Greg, we are not friends. We're nothing. We're in the same grade. We were at the same bus, and that's it. We didn't have no classes together or anything. But he knew who I was, and I knew who he was. So we just stopped by. We stopped by his house, and he was there by himself. And we were just talking. And then all of a sudden, we ran out of stuff to talk about. And we were just standing in his front yard. And we looked so weird. And he was like, okay, so I'm going to go back in the house now. I was like, okay. And then he went in the house and closed the door. And so we turned around and we go to the sidewalk because we're going to cross the street at this point because the side that the sidewalk is on is opposite of the Kwikset gas station. So we're going to cross the street now earlier than we really needed to. But we wanted to go ahead and be on that side of the street where the store was. So as we're standing there and traffic is just whizzing by, and baby, on Kings Lane back in the day, they need to put some speed bumps on that street, to be honest with you. And they're not there now. They need to be. cars were zoom, zoom, cars were just whipping by. And I'm waiting. Now, Jamise is holding Monica's hand as we're standing there, because you know when you cross the street with a child, you're supposed to hold their hand. So she's holding Monica's hand, but I wasn't paying attention, so I just saw to the corner of my eye that she was on her hand. And then the car went by, and then I darted across the street really quick. But there was a car coming, so I darted in between two cars. And Jamise, she was like super attached to me because I was the one who was like taking care of the kids at the house or whatever. So she was more attached to me than she was Monica. She ran behind me after I had already crossed the street and tried to do the same thing that I did, but she didn't make it, and she got hit by a Cadillac. It was this, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like a burgundy Cadillac, but baby, she hit her with that car, and my sister went flying across the street. She had to be doing at least about 45, maybe 50 miles an hour on that road. She hit her so hard that it knocked her shoes off. And this is what I remember. She slammed on the brake, and Jamise, she went like two houses down. That's how hard she got hit. She was flying two houses down, and she landed in these people's yard. And then I blacked out. I don't remember what happened next. And I have tried. This was back when I was like 15 years old. And I swear to you, I have been like trying to remember for years what happened to me, why I blacked out. I don't know why. When I say, but I didn't pass out. It just, everything just went black in my brain. Like I couldn't see anything. I couldn't hear anything. It was like I was passed out, but I don't know. And some people would be like, "Oh well, your brain just probably just stopped processing everything." I was like, "No, I've passed out before. I've gotten shit faced drunk, and all kind of stuff, and from drugs. Well, not drugs. You can't pass out from weed, but like cough medicine. You know how and it takes you, like Theraflu will knock you the fuck out. No, this was different. I don't remember anything. And then the next thing I know, opened my eyes and some lady was running up to me. And she was like, "Here, hold these." And she gave me my sister's shoes. I was like, what? What is... And then I looked up at the house where she landed, and some lady, it was all these people were outside, and then some lady came running out of the house with a blanket, and she covered my sister up. And my sister was on the ground. She was screaming and crying. She was like, "You need to talk to her. You need to talk to her." I was like, okay. So I went over there, and she was laying on the ground crying. She was like, "I want to go home." I was like, okay. And I was about to pick her up, and it was like, "No, you can't pick her up. You can't pick her up. She might have internal bleeding." I was like, okay. I was like, "You have to stay here." She was like, and then I think, if I'm mistaken, somebody asked me for the phone number for my house, and they called my father. And then they told my father, your daughter has got hit by a car. You need to come up here on Kings Lane. And so I'm just sitting there talking to her, and then some lady came out. She was like, "Your daddy's on the way, and we called an ambulance, but you can't move her. Just in there and just talking to her." She's like, "I want to go home. She's, I'm so cold. It's really, really cold. I want to go home." But I looked, and they had blankets all over her, so I was like, okay. So I was like, "We can't go home right now. You have to go to the hospital." And I was talking to her, and then if I'm remembering correctly, my dad got there around about the same time the ambulance did. I think that's right. Because he pulled up, him and my stepmom, and then they put on the. I was standing in those people's front yard, and I just kept crying, and I was screaming at my cousin, "Why didn't you hold her hand? Why didn't you hold her hand?" I was like, "No, why didn't you hold her hand?" She was like, and my cousin was like, she didn't know what to say, and she, oi. Okay, where I left off at, she was laying on the ground. Ambulance came, they strapped her to the board and took her to the hospital. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, somebody that was there gave us a ride back to the house. And when we get back to the house, now this is what they told me. I was told that I was running around in circles in the front yard screaming. So I'm like, but I'm sorry, that doesn't even sound like something I would do. I wouldn't even do that right now. I have a hard time believing that. But everybody that was there said that's what I was doing. So we get back to the house and we're sitting in the den. No TV, no radio, nothing, just in silence. And I just kept crying. Because I was thinking that I was going to get my ass beat the fuck because I got my sister hit by a car. And that's what was scaring me the most. And then I just kept telling my cousin, I just kept asking my cousin, why didn't you hold her hand? And she was like, I did, I was. I was like, I looked. And you was holding it, and I just saw you just do like this. And she just ran away. But I know that when you have children and your child is about to go on the street and you're holding their hand, you clench your fist to keep them from going across the street without you, unless you're guiding them across the street. But she said that she wasn't holding her hand. When I saw them holding hands, when I looked at them, they were holding hands. So anyway, my dad got home later that night, and he was like, she's going to be in the hospital for, I don't know, some weeks or whatever. And then he's like, you got to go to school tomorrow. So I just saw my sister get hit by a car, and I got to go to school the next day. I don't get no days off. So the next morning, I got up, got dressed, and went to school. And I was on a bus with Gregory. He looked out the window, and he saw what happened. He saw the whole thing. And we were sitting on the bus this was after school on the way back home. And he was like, did your sister get hit by a car yesterday? I was like, yeah. He was like, and he just turned around. And then I went home. Then I remember my mama was pissed. I thought she was gonna give me another whooping too. But I didn't get no whooping at all. I remember we went to the hospital to see her, and then she was gone for a long time. It was some weeks. She went to Vanderbilt Medical Center. And when she came home, she was in a full body cast from here down. It went underneath her armpits, but she was in a full body cast. And she had to be in the cast for like 3 months or something like that. So when I got home from school every day, when I say every day, I was the only one who was taking care of her when I wasn't at school. I didn't do anything else. When we went to church, I took care of her all day Saturday. After school, I came straight home, came straight in the house, took care of her until it was time for me to go to school the next day. That's all I did. I didn't do anything else. I fed her, I bathed her, everything for the whole time she was in the body cast. Then when she came out of the body cast, I did the physical therapy with her. She was, I think she was maybe about 7 or 8 years old. 8 is kind of old. I think she was like 6 or 7 years old. But if you look at her now, you can't tell it happened to her.